Hi friends, Jeanette here, and today's video is a somatic yoga therapy practice, and we're going to relax, unwind all that nervous tension. Before we dive in, please take a second to like the video. Give me a thumbs up. It means a lot to me. Thank you. Namaste. And also subscribe to my channel so you'll be notified every time there's a new video. For this practice, you'll need a blanket and possibly a chair if you have a hard time sitting on the floor. We're going to get started with my number one rule, which is no pain. Please don't do anything that hurts, and take your time. Unwinding your nervous system, unwinding chronic patterns of stress really requires a slowing down, and it can't be done quickly. So, your body, you're in charge. Make choices based on what you need. You're free to skip any of the movements if you need to, or just change them in any way you need to. Starting laying on the back with the knees bent. You don't need the blanket just yet. So this is where you could put a blanket under your head if you have any discomfort in your neck, or if you have a sensation of pressure in your head when you lie down on the floor. Put your arms in a comfortable place. And your eyes can be open or closed. That's your choice. Check in with the room around you, taking note of where the doors are. Where the windows are. And where your body is located in the room and in relation to other objects, furniture, other things that might be in the room. Take a deep breath into your body. Exhale, feel yourself relaxing a little bit. Noticing whether there is any tension in your facial muscles. And if there is, maybe you can let that go a little bit. And then scanning the back side of your body, the spot where your head meets the surface underneath it, your shoulders making contact with the floor, in the back, your entire back, and your sacrum, and feel the bottoms of your feet. Maybe even wiggle your toes. Take a deep breath, and as you exhale, bring your lips together and make a tiny hole between the lips so that you can exhale through that hole, almost like you're exhaling through a straw. As you inhale, feel the way your body expands. As you exhale, imagine your body getting heavier, sinking into the floor. And this kind of breath is really good for stress because it helps you slow down your heart rate, your blood pressure, and it can increase your heart rate variability. It can help you with all kinds of physiological markers of stress that together have so much power over the way you feel. And this breath can be done anytime, anywhere. So moving on, we're going to find that blanket. And place it underneath the hips like this. Okay. Take your feet a little bit wide. We're going to continue with that soft straw breathing as we do the movement here. So before we even start a movement, what is there to notice with this blanket underneath your sacrum? Sometimes people say that having a blanket here is actually not comfortable, so if that's what you're experiencing right now, please remove the blanket. Make yourself comfortable if you can. And then we're going to start moving the knees just a tiny bit on the exhale, just maybe an inch or two to one side, and then inhaling back to center. Exhaling an inch or two to the other side. Inhaling back to center. And slowing down the movement like this gives you an opportunity to notice things that you might have missed if you were doing bigger movements. And this increases that body-mind connection. A feeling of control over your experience. You get to change the movement. You get to decide if you do the movement at all. And if you like, you can start making those movements a little bit bigger, gradually, getting a little bit bigger each time. Noticing each time you change the size of the movement, is there something new that you feel? Some new muscle fiber that you can be aware of? Good, and bringing the knees back up to center. On the exhale, we can bring the right knee in towards the chest, and then the left knee. And pulling both knees in towards the chest, stretching out the low back, and feeling into the tissues of the sacrum, the thighs. And place your right foot on the floor and your left foot on the floor. And then to stretch out your psoas muscle and your belly and your side body, you can put your right leg on the floor. Stretch it out on the floor just like that. And you could also bring your right arm up overhead too. Now, if you have a shoulder that doesn't let your arm rest on the floor, you can put a pillow there under your arm, or 2 or 3 pillows, as many as you need to get yourself into a comfortable position where you can relax. And then we're going to breathe into the right side of the body. Allow your breath to massage the psoas muscle on your right hand side. I'm feeling your belly grow larger with the inhale, shrinking back down on the exhale like a balloon being blown up and letting the air out. Trace the line from deep inside your abdomen all the way across the front of your hip to the inside of your thigh, really high up on the inside of your thigh bone, almost where the leg meets the body. Imagine that line getting longer and softer. Notice the rest of your body for a moment, just checking in with the rest of the body. And see if there's tension anywhere where it doesn't need to be. Just ask it if it will relax for you. Last breath here. Good, and then we can bring the right arm down. And we can bring that right foot back up onto the mat. We're going to try stretching out the other side of the body. So if there's any move that you need to do before we do that, you can try that now. Sometimes people like to just do a few windshield wipers before moving on to the next side. Some people like to bring the knees in. Whatever feels good for you. There's no right or wrong here, just sensing into what the tissues need, what joints want to move here. Okay, good. Then we'll return to that starting position and we can stretch out that left leg on the floor. And then if you want your left arm up overhead, you can do that too. Or do the same thing on this side that we did on the last side. Breathing into the psoas muscle, breathing into that line from deep inside the abdomen, all the way down the front of the hip to the top of the inner thigh. Relaxing as much of the body as you can. And turning inward into this inner allowing the body to unravel itself here. Know that there's not much you need to do in this pose except let pose hold you. One last breath here. Good. We're just going to bring that left hand down, and we can also bring that right foot back to the starting position. Remove the blanket from underneath the hips and rest the entire body back down onto the floor. And what do you notice now? In a moment, we'll be working on the hands and knees. So when you're ready to transition, please roll over onto your side. And rest here for a moment, just like that. And then, as you're ready, we can come to hands and knees on the floor. So if you have sensitive knees, you can put a blanket underneath your knees here. And we're going to start with some really gentle movement of the hips. So we can take the hips into circles like this. And this is a really good tool for feeling into the hips and the tissues around the hips. And sometimes the yoga practice is an exploration of the body, just seeing what we find there. And sometimes we find surprises, tension where we didn't expect it, or maybe even a little freedom where we didn't expect it. As you move your hips through these circles, can you sense the energy moving through your body, the prana, as you stir your hips? And when you're ready, you can reverse direction. And sometimes going in the opposite direction feels different. circle here. We can settle into the center like a pendulum coming to rest. Take a big breath, and as you exhale, shift your hips back, bring your elbows to the floor, and kiss the earth with your third eye. Inhaling, you can come back up onto the elbows and then the hands, and exhaling back. Moving your body in synchronicity with your breath is really soothing for all your koshas, all your layers of being. Sometimes as we move into places of the body that we haven't felt in a long time, there can be emotions stored there in those tissues that want to make their way out. Sometimes they're accompanied by a memory, sometimes not. If that's happening for you during your yoga practice, you can try allowing those things to be there without getting too into the story of this is what happened, or feeling like you are being transported into another place and time. Stay in the body with the sensations that are real right now. And you'll find that those sensations will change. Good. So now we're going to flow into and out of downward facing dog. Actually, let's do this first. Let's take a break. Those arms and wrists might be getting tired, so if you like, you can stack your hands on top of each other and place your forehead right there on top of those hands. Rest like this, or in any other position that feels comfortable for you. And there's always something to notice. And when you're ready, we'll come back to hands and knees. Tuck your toes, roll your shoulders down away from your ears, and as you exhale, you can lift your knees and shift back into triangular shape. This is Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. You can then inhale and bring the knees back down again. You can exhale back into child's pose if you like here, making a flow of child's pose and downward facing dog. Just like that. And as you move into your down dog and into, through, and out of each pose, notice what you feel in your hands, the weight, the pressure, and your feet, the points of you making contact with the planet. And then maybe even try feeling into the parts of you that you lift up towards the ceiling, towards the sky. And if you are going to be holding your downward facing dog today, now's a good time for that. You can also keep moving through the flow. Your body, your choice. And imagine yourself as a bridge between heaven and earth. Coming down and out of your down dog anytime you feel. So we've come to the part of the practice where you might want a chair. We're going to be working in the seated position for a few minutes, and if sitting on the floor doesn't work for you for any reason at all, please make yourself at home in a chair. And whether you're in a chair or on the floor, try to sit up as straight as you can, leaning back a little into your sitting bones. And ground down into your sitting bones. Really feel the weight of your body pressing through those bones into the surface underneath you. And take a big breath and let it go. Lift up away from your sitting bones like a tower rising from the earth, pointing straight up at the sun. And then we can try a little energy yoga. Rubbing your hands together like this until you start to feel a little bit of heat. That heat is energy. Scientific fact, heat is energy. And if you pull your hands away from each other just a tiny bit, so they're not touching, but they're really close to each other, you can still feel that heat, that energy going back and forth between the hands. You might even experience a little tingling on the nerves under the skin. That's energy too. And so we can make an intention with this energy. We can put loving intention into that energy and allow it to flow to the parts of our bodies that need extra support right now. And whether that's your heart, or your belly, or your legs, your knees, hips, neck, whatever it is. And with your eyes either open or closed, imagine energy going from your heart center, down your arms, through your hands, into those parts of you. Loving hands you've placed on yourself. Hold yourself like you would hold a precious newborn baby. And turn your inner gaze lovingly, kindly towards this delicate, vulnerable being. wishing it all the love, all the peace, all the support that it deserves. When you're ready, open your eyes. Thank you for joining me today for Somatic Yoga Therapy. May all beings everywhere be peaceful and happy, including me and including you. I bow to the light in you because it's the same as the light in me. Namaste.